Hi everyone, welcome to Spiritual Splash. This is Karen Lynn. Spiritual Splash is hopeful and heartfelt messages about well-being. And today is my first split splash, and we're going to be including David Hurtado, who is the quantum chef. David is from Ecuador. He's a classically trained chef who felt a calling to study plant medicine in Ecuador, in the Amazon, for about a year with a shaman. And then he isolated himself with the guidance of a Buddhist monk and practiced some real deep meditations. So he's had a pretty in-depth spiritual path so far, and now he is looking to help others in their awakening. So if you're joining, thank you for being here with me. If we haven't met, it's lovely to see you here on this forum. Like I said, it's the first spiritual split splash. We'll be going forward here with David Hurtado. Hey David, hello, welcome.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So for those of you who are just meeting us, David and I met when I was presenting an award to UDLA, the school where David was trained in Ecuador. I worked in luxury travel, 5-star diamond award. So how are you today?
I'm amazing. So excited about this. We've been talking. It is a huge topic. Actually, we have noticed the movement about the spirituality have shifted after not just the pandemic, even before that was already an insight that not just luxury hospitality people was living, but actually the essence of life experience on earth was experimenting.
This is a really important time for so many people becoming more in touch with who they really are, their divine nature. I want to just get a little bit though into what brought you now to where you are, because I spoke a little bit before you came on about your plant medicine journey, your meditation journeys, and awakening.
Well, first of all, I'm Ecuadorian. So coming from Ecuador, it is an amazing experience. You are in the middle of what we know as planet Earth. So the plane of Earth has brought me very good insight on an electrodynamic field. That's what we're gonna get in touch within today. So yes, my
When you said
background
the
was
wait, sorry, David, the electromagnetic field, like of the planet Earth?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So the idea of coming along of this journey was because of, as I said, the background of culinary arts and hospitality. It showed me the insight of service. So service itself, it is coming through the all human life experience. We see it through Egypt, Sumerian, ancient scriptures. So what is service? That was the call inside of myself. So coming to what is service brought me to make my own research about what it is electrodynamics, how the movement of particles get to align into what we know as human love, what our heart is expressing. So as our expression in this universe, our expression in this life, it is entangled to what we are perceiving or in our work, in our daily duties. It is interesting to understand that there is a flow, there is a pattern that we can follow, that we can entangle to. So understanding this pattern was the key to get into what it is shamanism, for example, starting with shamans in the
Okay, so
Amazon,
let me just
starting
if I'm understanding correctly, Dave, I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly, because these principles are pretty complicated. So in terms of service, we're talking about the heart connection and the pattern underneath the heart connection of human being
yes,
interaction.
exactly. Let's make
Okay.
a quick example. If you go to a restaurant, any of it, you get to ask about a glass of water. So the moment you start asking about the glass of water, it comes to this insight of movement, this insight of how I should react in front of something. Why? Because it comes from not desire, I would say not desire, but I would like to focus more on a basic need that is sharing. So I want to share with my body some hydration. So I'm asked about water, but how am I doing it? Am I doing it properly to the server? Am I doing it properly to the place? It is the right water for myself. So not making it complicated, it's about the intention. So that's why you always
Okay,
are thankful with people on service that because of their service, how they react to it.
I see. Okay. So essentially, we're talking about the energy dynamic that
Yes,
lives underneath an intention, underneath a request,
yes,
and underneath
absolutely.
any kind of communication,
Absolutely.
nonverbal communication as well.
Based on scientific studies, we can tell that, for example, Dr. Masaru Emoto was doing a research on water molecules, and the intention that he discovered that shows up in water and the water structure, it's amazing. You
Yeah.
can start perceiving the diamonds, you start perceiving the real beautiful structure of water instead of saying bad words or lower intention words where you can find that there is disorder.
It's remarkable how our thoughts and feelings can affect the crystallization of the water. And to see those pictures, it's astonishing. You made a good point too about those intentions. Did you ever see this video? I'll have to share it. It's awesome. It's IKEA did this experiment where they put two plants in a lobby and they had children
Absolutely.
give good
Yes.
words to one and bad words to the other, and the plant that received the bad intention wilted and died. Have you ever seen these
I've
experiments?
seen it. I've seen it. I've done some experiments even with rice as well, with water, just writing on it, like one word on one cup of water with saying like grace or love, and another one just writing in hate. Imagine just writing it on the glass, how the molecule change.
Wow.
And if you get with rice that, you get to develop some mold on the one that it is like with lower vibration, and the one that it is with higher vibration keeps intact. It is amazing. Imagine that if
Incredible.
we canalize just the thoughts and the words that we are using in our bodies. Remember that we are over 70% water in our bodies. So it
Yeah.
is amazing how the intention reacts.
Love that. I love applying that to service. I mean, as service professionals in hospitality, wouldn't that be such a key piece in learning how we can
Absolutely.
give better
Actually,
service,
I
right?
believe is the key for the future service, not because we deserve a kind and empathic service, but because of the environment. If we want to heal ourselves from the pandemic, from the scarcity, from what we have been experiencing as a bad habits, we definitely have to have a shift on our thinking, a shift in our intentions. Well, it's going to be developed. I mean, it's happening now. It's going to be technology, empathic technology that is going to be regulating not just
What
the
do you
way
mean
that we are perceived.
empathic technology? What is that?
Yes.
That sounds interesting.
Well, we were talking yesterday in this summit, THC 2020. It is a communion. It's about a community that we are generating. So what we were talking is about technology harmony. And what is it? It had happened that for some of you, and I'm sure it happened, that the Wi-Fi goes down, or maybe the message was deleted, or somehow a picture was deleted in your device, in your computer. So what's happening? We are getting to an age of quantum computing. We're getting to an age of quantum thinking. So what's happening is that the electrodynamic of your surround, basically from your heart to your brain, and what it gets to your device, gets in entangled. So are you aware of it? Are you aware of how you are vibrating? Those vibrations are affecting some devices. Those vibrations are affecting your surround. So it can happen even that you can break down your phone just because you are not well balanced, or maybe you are not in synchronicity on what you are
Oh my God,
working
that
with.
explains so much.
Yes,
People, I've had like so many, well, a long time ago when I was growing up in high school, I used to short out so many electronic devices and I never knew it was
yes,
because
it's
maybe I
that.
didn't have a
Imagine the
positive
level of
vibration.
electrodynamic you are working with. So it gets unbalanced because you are maybe on a
Wow.
higher vibration that a phone or a device is working with. If you are in
Who
a higher
knows? Yeah.
vibration, you have
It's
to be
just not
aware
in
that the
resonance.
yes, they are not in resonance, absolutely. And working with QED, that's quantum electrodynamic, brings you the insight to for you to get in touch on intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence. So you get in touch with your maybe Alexa, maybe your Google, maybe Siri,
Yeah.
but it is that it's developing the electrodynamic that you're gonna be living in your surround. That's a home, a smart home, or it could be even a Tesla car. It works in the same dynamic. It's interesting, and everything is based on your heart.
This is fascinating. And very intricate. I mean, something I feel like we probably would have to practice. But on a very basic level, if you haven't ever worked with that and just sort of understand, of course, that our thoughts and our heart create vibrations and do affect our reality, what are simple things we can do? Just be aware and be positive, or what would you
Well,
suggest?
going a little bit back on what you were asking me about plants and medicine from the land, let's say from soil, natural medicine works with you. That's the interesting part of water. So, how water can become a medicine? It is the basic instinct, I think, of human soul. Because remember that we are on this earth and we are complete. We are abundant. We are fulfilled from everything, from the whole universe. So whether you need something, you already have it. So plants and medicines, what make us is reflect or thinking on how we are behaving based on plants and natural medicine. What we can relate is how our devices are working with us. So
Okay.
the main perspective we should cultivate it is a physical world. But you will tell a physical world maybe it is too hard, it is too rigid, it is not what a spiritual awakening it is bringing to my life because I know my spirit sometimes needs and deserves not to be in touch with television, computer, mobile phones, or radio. It deserves to be in a jungle. That's why taking the time to be isolated from people, and we experience already like worldwide. It was not just for monks. It was not just for people that was doing studies. It was for everyone. So from that perspective, that first step that we took as humanity, because it is a shift, it's a whole global shift, we can tell that the physics that we are relating to got quantum. Now you will ask me what is quantum? Quantum is the perspective of getting the particles on our behave on a unified field that we call a fractal mass. The holofractal mass that it is what we relate when we are on a vacuum, that it is the vacuum field that you are on your soul. When you get into your meditation, you isolate the resonance that it's contaminating yourself. But you don't
Okay.
isolate yourself from
This
it.
is deep. This is deep.
It's way
This is
deep. We
deep.
have
This
to
is
go.
deep. But I love it. I love the fact that there's a lot to learn about it. It seems like it reminds me when I did ayahuasca of just really humbling myself and saying, wow, there's a whole lot to the universe and the way things work in day-to-day life. I just don't understand. You know, there's a lot to learn. It's humbling.
That's something we find quantum physics and quantum mechanics that we should start thinking more deep inside positive. Why? Because if I, for example, start saying that maybe it is difficult, it's gonna become difficult. That's responsibility as well on our word. Because if I start saying, maybe I cannot do it because of something, you will not do it. Absolutely. It
Okay.
is a moment for you to be right. It is a moment for you to understand that the shift, every moment that you manifest something, and it is coming for everyone. It's not just for spiritual awakening
Yeah.
people, but it is for everyone that you manifest even faster than before. If you get to notice, last year maybe was not the same resonance as now. Now, if you say something, maybe in an hour it's happening that
Yeah.
maybe last year used to happen on a week. So,
Yeah, doesn't it? It does. You know, David, it's interesting you bring that up. It feels like time is going so much faster. I mean, I know it's our
yes.
perspectives, but whoa, it's like we're in July. How'd that happen?
So imagine that talking about that, how pyramids were built in Egypt was about intentions. Now, the structure of the intentions, we have noticed they have a pattern. This pattern we can relate on quantum mechanics to what we know the Planck sphere. So the Planck sphere, we could tell it is the base to analyze what it is our thinking. So yes, monks before used to tell that maybe the thoughts and ideas they didn't have a shape and we have to shape it. But the shape itself was the Planck scale. So the Planck scale we can tell it is our connection to consciousness. And now it is standardable. Standardable what for? To human resonance. So we can start breaking barrier, unboxing thinking, and sure, evolving on what we know as humankind.
Linking evolution to a quantum perspective.
A quantum perspective that brings us that it is not going forward or backwards, but it was there all time long, was all time that we know as experience was the same vibration. Now, what we are shifting on this earth is that reflection with the medicine, that reflection with plants. So as I take plants and herbs as medicine because of my background of culinary arts, because I
Yeah.
started taking herbs, plants, and all kind of animals because we can do it. But of course, the human respect can be reflected, maybe going on veganism, maybe going vegetarian, but it's not the main point. The main point is how respectful I'm with with the surround, with all the environment. So that's how we generate a different trends, a different kind of consume that we can that can be in. But mostly having the reflection with plants and herbs, it's how we're gonna be working on and on for this plane because as quantum dynamics shows, we are multidimensional. So at the time that we are sitting here, like talking through Instagram, we are evolving in maybe in some divine perspective bodies,
Yeah.
or we are growing even in a lower mana perspective. So it's interesting how the field, the vacuum that we are
Oh my God,
living
it's so
within,
complex.
integrates everything.
It does integrate. And then, sometimes I think, well, when people, I worked with a teacher in Nepal, and she had said to me, well, we're always connected to everyone we meet. And my limited knowledge in this, I'm very much a student in all of this, made me think of What the Bleep, the movie What the Bleep. And there was a section in that where they were talking about, quantum dynamics and saying that when you meet someone, you're entangled, like you're always going to be entangled. And I was like, is this on another dimension? Is it where it can really blow your mind? I mean, you know,
Yes,
to
absolutely.
think,
It's how it appears in that movie that you are playing basketball, for example. If you are
yeah, yeah,
playing basketball, there is a lot of possibilities of the ball jumping into what we know as it
the
could be.
court
It's not a yeah, yeah,
or
that
the
one.
net.
So
Yeah.
the net, yeah, it could be even on the net. So the interesting part of this is that you have the chance not to anticipate or not design, but to be in resonance to what is right. And being right, it's entropic. What is entropic is a constant on physics. So if there are physicists in here, they will understand that acentropic is a way of belief on particles that they don't when they reach a certain specific resonance by centropic understanding, you get to notice they don't come back. So if you are evolving or if you are progressing on your spiritual awakening, there is no way that you can go back to where you were coming from. So
Well,
if you
that's
were on
good.
pain, if you were on pain, and
I'm
if
sure
you
a lot
were
of people will
like
be happy to hear that.
yes, on disease, you heal from that. You don't go backwards. You are generating your next step on
Yeah.
let's say evolution. But as I said, evolution is not a progression. It is an state of
Well,
aware of centropism.
you know this so well. Your knowledge of this is so deep and expansive, and it's a lot to digest in a quick splash. I'm so grateful though that we're getting so many different ideas. We have to follow up on a bunch of these things. I'm thinking timelines, and there's a lot of talk right now about the 5D reality and creating our own individual timelines. And healers have suggested to me personally that I do a lot of my inner shadow work, or everybody does, because we want to get on the optimal timeline for ourselves. And this idea that humanity could evolve on different levels is really new to me. And I'm curious any thoughts you have on it and what you know about that, like possibilities and timelines.
Well, there is like this new mathematic was discovered through this scientist Nassim Haramein. It is let's say it's a spiritual leader, but he's a physicist. And
Okay.
he discovered that what we know as timeline, it is not what we have expressed as time. Even the speed of light has been rediscovered. Even the idea of what is relativity on what Einstein stands for. It is a different perspective. That's what quantum quantum is bringing to us in order to shift that. So I'm not working for the future, but I'm working for the now. So being in the now brings you the capability to express dilatation or maybe contraction what we understand as time. But time itself is not linear. Time itself cannot be just spherical. So time as it is will be replanted not as a Gregorian calendar, but as a flow dynamic,
Wow.
most spherical.
This is so fascinating. I just want to bring attention to your socials because there's a lot of really cool posts. I'm grateful to you, David. You reintroduced me back to one of my favorite people of all time, Gary Vee, and a
Amazing.
lot of your optimistic posts and fractal geometry. It's fascinating.
Now that we are talking about Gary, I would like to share a little bit of what we are doing in here. So as I'm gonna stand up, I'm gonna be walking around. So I'm gonna share my room. Why?
Oh yeah.
Because my universe is an isolation. My universe, it is where I can breathe with. So, for example, we were meditating in the morning with Karen. We were doing some magic. We were thinking about meditation. For example, I've got in here a little Buddha as well.
Oh,
It's guiding
yeah.
us
That's an
all
altar?
time. Yes, as you can see, if you want to get into spirituality, if you want to get into what we know as human, let's say, new perspective, what you can is start from where you are, from the basics. Gary says something about social media that's very interesting. It is not just be connected to what you are doing. Try not to go fancy, but express yourself. So if you have your phone, the spiritual insight that you're gonna do is sharing a picture. The spiritual insight that you're gonna be doing, maybe it's uploading a video. But what is important in here is to follow your heart, and it's expressed in every culture, in every science experiment, and even with aliens. That might be that another topic, but we have to be aware. We are on an age to understand what is human and what is consciousness and what is intelligence itself, reminding that we are the same intelligence. For example, I got in here one of my favorite books. It is Crushing It.
Oh
Crushing
yeah.
It? Yes.
No, that's a great one. I got to read that.
Not just about the marketing, but it is already a community. It is a spiritual weight community. Maybe they don't meditate, maybe they don't go to Buddhism, they don't go to what we know as evolution of humankind, but they are entangled within the heart. They are working within the people that they are developing their
Yes.
dreams. So that's, I think, more important than maybe just getting in touch what it is the spirit. Because if we don't get as a community to work in the spirit, we will not be rediscovering what we know. I'm gonna ask you to give me 1 minute, please. I'm gonna be back with you. I have to just connect ourselves onto a quantum dynamic. Let me a moment.
So everyone, thanks for joining. If you've come into the broadcast, I'm Karen Lynn. This is David Hurtado. It's a spiritual split splash. We're just kind of tossing around lots of ideas today, concepts, I would say, more than anything about quantum dynamics, understand our awakening and our spirituality also on that level. Here we go. David, you're back?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you, Karen. I was doing a little bit inside. Remember, whether you are talking, whether you are expressing yourself, you have to regenerate your insight, your energy, your mana. So it's important not just to share the experience openly wide, because there is no frontiers, there is no secrets in here. What we are doing, it's hard work. Believe me, working with the heart, and mostly we have noticed on society that if you don't get to achieve what you deserve, it's because of lack of work, lack of empathy, lack of perspective. And people like you, Karen, believe me, have shaped not just humanity today, not just the inside of bringing people to connect, but it is the intention
Well, we
of
all do
getting
it together.
something better. Yes, yes,
I'm a
but is
believer.
that, is
We do
that,
it
if we
together.
don't do
All the
it,
energy.
if
All of
we
it.
don't
All of
do
us
it, it's
together.
gonna be very difficult for the future, and it's our responsibility as users of this planet Earth uh, that we have to understand that it is our legacy. It is our legacy to share it.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I agree. And everyone who participates, I'm always so grateful because we all bring energy to something. It's collective. It's never one intention. I think we all kind of find each other.
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting because you get to notice that through patterns, you can connect your universe. You can connect what you really are. You can explain even some craziness that you're having inside your soul, because not all the time your thoughts are organized in order to express them. But it is interesting to see how those patterns, they don't obligate you, but they show you the path to do it. And one way or another, you know what is right and you end up doing it. So if you want to approach to a better network, if you want to approach to what it is, let's say, abundant current flow, that it develops money, it develops your, let's say, bitcoins, maybe Ethereum, whatever you're working with. It's not just the idea of working with society. It's what you can sustain yourself. So it is interesting to see how step by step it comes along the way without doing much effort but work. Remember, effort might be something that is first.
Hello? David seems to be stuck. There, David, you left. Okay. Well, David will be coming back. I got lost in a quantum pocket. David, please come back. So welcome to Spiritual Split Splash. Little technical difficulties. We lost you for a moment. Welcome back.
Yeah, you see, that's what happens when you generate interference within your thoughts. So you see, we did it, we had this experience right now. Why? Because we started talking about monetary system, we started talking about what it is society on a way that it is not related to what we were developing on our quantum field. So
Oh,
it
wow.
happens all the time.
Okay.
That's why working, for example, in Zoom has come primordial to understand our society in this pandemic. Why? Because the algorithm that is working soon, for example, not trying to upsell, because there is a lot of ways to connect to people, but it is to understand that there was a specific pattern, they understood, they translated into what it is the mechanical electrodynamic of a computer, and now we connect through that algorithm. So the algorithm changes every time you are shifting. So it is a basic instinct of humankind that we are connecting. So it is understandable that it's gonna work. Now, if you interfere, that connection goes down, or maybe just get a little bit dizzy. So it is something to care about. That's why I invite you, organize your thinking, organize your thoughts, your feelings. Whether you get in touch with that insight, you will get to notice how your resonance get aligned to what it is a whole of fractal mass, to what it is consciousness.
That's so cool. I love that idea too, that we live in an algorithm, although I don't love that concept. It's just cool to think that we can alter it, that we can have some influence with our thoughts, that we can actually change and move within it. It's fascinating.
And going deep on that, like talking to what it is, levitation, talking to telepathy, talking about this weird stuff that things can get to move without the need of getting to it. It can happen. It had happened to me several times, but as Nassim was saying, that it is this physical leader, and you can understand even time traveling. You can understand how ships can travel through interstellar space. He's telling it's not practical. Why it is not practical? Because we are not unifying it. We are not getting an
Oh,
entangle to humanity to share it properly. Because we
okay.
have still this specific structure on thinking that we can, let's say, unplug by design. And the design is in your heart. So you design your resonance, and through it, you unplug what you are feeling. When you start not feeling it, it is the heart itself working. Whether you get an idea, you get a feeling. You get an idea, you get back to an attachment, and feelings are attachment. As a Buddhist practicing, uh, I try always to be still, try to get into stillness. Why? Through it comes enlightenment, through it comes what it is right, what it is in your heart.
So well said. The heart needs stillness to speak. It's so true.
It does.
Wow, I'm just thinking so many things you're bringing up. Again, the humbling aspect of our human existence, that we just don't know so much about our potential. We're just all discovering that is our awakening, and it's really beautiful.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. It's part of our daily routine, I could say. Becoming awakened beings. It's not just going through meditation. Absolutely. Even the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, has been talking with these scientists, and they have been like understanding that it's not just through meditation that you do it. The hard work works, but the important things that you unified perspective, what is
Yeah,
kindness, what is love, and it is bringing us a brighter future, let's say.
indeed. Well, David, this has been a feast, to use the culinary vocabulary, a feast of
Amazing.
concepts and
Yeah.
ideas, and
And
a lot to take home.
I'd like to apologize as well a little bit to all the English speakers that were there. I'm Spanish speaker, and it is for me a complete whole journey. So might be a shift on some understanding, but the important part is that you understand the quantum field, you understand the quantum experience as the electrodynamic. So sometimes you will get that shake as an expression. For example, for us, is our first split splash, and it's something amazing. Uh, as Gary Vaynerchuk says, it doesn't matter if you fail, it doesn't matter if you don't use the proper word. What is important is the order on your heart. Bring in what you really feel, what you love. So I invite you to share this experience with Karen. She's gonna be, I know, doing several series of videos. It's amazing inside the space you have brought to me as well. Has bring this quantum leap. So I'm sure from here is going to be appearing new beautiful experience on everyone connected. So it's going to be fun. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful, David. And thank you. You did great in English. I can't say I could do nearly as
You
well,
should
even endeavoring in
absolutely
Spanish.
do something in Spanish. Yeah, you should do something in Spanish as well. Your Spanish is
Sí.
awesome as well.
Un día hacemos.
Sí, algún día.
Well, so anyway, I just wanted to wrap up because you guys have been with us for some time now. Really appreciate those of you who have stayed through the broadcast. If you've watched this or you're coming in at a later time, thank you. And please check out David, Chef Dormito, right, on Instagram?
Yes, Chef Dermito. Yeah, it is. It is. It's the idea of cooking through the dream. As you go through ayahuasca, you awake yourself to a dream.
Through
I
the
found the
dream?
idea of through the dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dormito is an Italian word referring to sleeping. And chef, well, you know already, is a cook. So it's a cook on a dream. So this is a
Yes.
dream. Remember, this is an illusion. Your reality is awaiting for you. Your reality is beyond this barrier. So try to go inside the vacuum, try to go deeper into your perspective. I'm sure your soul is going to be thanked with the universe.
Any book you can leave us with and recommend, or a resource that we could
A
follow up
book.
with?
Absolutely. I'm gonna show you. This one was the first book that I got into what it is connection. Why do I say that? Because getting connected within people was mandatory the use of social media. You cannot do it without the use of social media. It is crushing it. It's crushing it. It's from Gary Vaynerchuk. It is amazing how this book can bring you the insight for you to show up, the insight for you to spread the word. And what you start doing it automatically with what you deserve to express. So if you are telling, for example, that your life was in the farm, you can start taking pictures from the farm and expressing yourself. And you will find sacred geometry, you will find resonance, you will find what it is enlightenment. I recommend a video. There is this Mind Valley Academy. It's an amazing experience. Vincent Lakiani, it is showing up how people can react in these kind of connections. And there is a specific one with Jason Silva. Jason Silva, it's a Latin America boy, grew up in UK, and he's been also through this spiritual awakening. And his perspective, it brings you to a whole new level of awareness. So I recommend that, absolutely.
That's so great. Thank you for those recommendations, because what you were saying reminds me so much of what we're all evolving to, is really becoming our own voice and really walking into that. I know we both love Gary Vee. We're big Gary Vee fans.
Yeah,
One of
yeah,
our
it does,
major
it does, it
connections between.
does.
And I just love that he's inspiring so many people now, because as the world shifts and structures change, people are going to awaken and also find their own voice. The ability to share that and find your voice and passion and use the tools we have to communicate is going to just be such a flourishing for everyone, for humanity.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
that's it.
Karen. It's been, you
Thank
have
you.
made, I think, my year, not just my day, my
Oh,
year, because
likewise.
I'm going to be expecting for you to meet up in Ecuador. So we'll do it. I'm
Very
sure we'll
soon.
do it one way or another. We are giving force to the seed of life that we have imprint in a wish, I think, is not for ourselves, but for humanity.
Thank you. And thank you to all of you. I hope we see you again soon. Thanks for hanging in on this first spiritual split splash. Love you all. Bye-bye. Bye, David. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for being here.
Bye-bye. Blessings. Bye-bye.